As Vice Chair of the California Legislative Body Caucus, I rise to present SR14, which commemorates the 50th anniversary of the march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, or what is known as, to most, Bloody Sunday. On March 7th, 1965, nonviolent protesters arrived at the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. They showed up to march. They showed up to be counted. They had come to demand voting rights that had been denied to millions of African Americans and other minorities through the South and across America. As the nonviolent protesters crossed the bridge, they were confronted by Alabama state troopers who brutally attacked and beat them, some even to death. Americans across the country witnessed this massacre as news stations broadcast this vicious brutality live on television. On March 21st, Senators, 1965, under court order, the United States Army, federalized Alabama National Guard, federal agents, and marshals across the nation escorted nearly 8,000 nonviolent protesters from the start of their historic journey in Alabama to the steps of the Alabama State Capitol building in Birmingham on March 25th, 1965. The extraordinary sacrifices these protesters endured brought national attention to the struggle for African American voting rights and served as a catalyst for Congress to pass the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which President Johnson signed into law on August 6, 1965. Senators, I am a product of Bloody Sunday. I am a product of the Voting Rights Act. I am a product of the struggle, the sacrifice, and the bloodshed so that African Americans should be granted the same right to vote as any other American. Without question, if we're not voted for the Voting Rights Act, I would not be serving today as a member of the California State Senate. Senators, this resolution may commemorate an event in our nation's history, but as our president said just this past weekend at the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the issues raised in Selma, Alabama, are not a relic of the past. They are the issues that continue to plague our country to this day. My mother was raised under segregated education laws. And while segregation has ended, too many black and brown students continue to be failed by our nation's educational system. My family fled the segregated South to California, seeking economic opportunities, yet too many black and brown female Americans still find themselves making less for the same day's work. Great efforts were made to pass the Voting Rights Act, yet that very act is still under attack today by some members of Congress and by our courts. Senators, the term Selma is not a catchphrase. Selma is now. Our work is needed now more than ever to ensure that every American citizen not just have the right to vote, but is able to exercise that right. Our march towards a more just, a more fair, a more equal society begins with every American exercising that right. And our commemoration of Bloody Sunday reminds us all of the great work still ahead of us to build that more just, that more fair, and that more equal society. Senators, I respectfully ask for your aye vote on SR 14. Thank you.